Beneath the surface of the natural world, invisible lines are being drawn. In forests and oceans, in open grasslands and underground burrows, animals are arranging themselves into patterns that dictate who eats first, who mates, who leads, and who follows. These structures are quiet, often bloodless, yet they shape the lives of countless creatures from the moment they are born until the moment they die. Tonight, we explore the hidden architecture of animal societies, the hierarchies that organize life itself. Welcome to Bedtime Biology, where science meets serenity. Each night, we explore the quiet wonders of the natural world, calming your mind and sparking your curiosity. If you like these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and commenting below if you have any feedback or suggestions for topics of future episodes. Social hierarchies in animals are not random chaos dressed up as order. They are sophisticated systems that have evolved over millions of years, refined by the pressures of survival and reproduction. When we think of animal societies, we might picture the rigid chain of command in an ant colony, or imagine wolves following an alpha leader through snowy terrain. But the reality is far more nuanced, more beautiful, and often more surprising than our simplified mental images suggest. The concept of animal dominance hierarchies began with chickens. In 1921, a young Norwegian zoologist named Thorleif Skjelderup Ebbe watched domestic chickens in his backyard and noticed something that would change how we understand animal societies forever. He was just 10 years old when he began his observations, carefully noting that although the chickens frequently pecked each other during feeding, not all chickens were pecked equally. Some birds seemed to peck others without fear of retaliation, while certain individuals submitted to nearly everyone else. Skjelderup Ebbe dedicated years to understanding this system, eventually describing what he called the pecking order in his doctoral dissertation. He wrote with remarkable insight for his time that anyone who thinks the inhabitants of a chicken yard are thoughtless, happy creatures with a daily life of undisturbed pleasure is thoroughly mistaken. A grave seriousness lies over the chicken yard. His words painted a picture of birds that were not mindlessly following instinct, but were instead engaged in a complex social dance where every interaction mattered, where rank was remembered and respected, where the social structure itself reduced the need for constant violence. The pecking order he described was linear. Chicken A pecks chicken B without retaliation. Chicken B pecks chicken C. Chicken C pecks chicken D. And so, the line continues down to the lowest ranking bird, who is pecked by everyone and pecks no one. This hierarchy, once established, remains relatively stable from day to day. Direct conflict becomes rare because an animal usually steps aside when confronted by one of higher rank. The system works because the birds remember their position and the positions of others, creating a social contract written not in words, but in behavior, in posture, in the tilt of a head, or the retreat of a step. Since Skjelderup Ebbe's groundbreaking work, researchers have found dominance hierarchies in species as diverse as primates, whales, birds, insects, fish, and mammals of every kind. Over 26,000 papers have been published on this topic in the past century, and the field continues to grow. Scientists study dominance hierarchies because they teach us about conflict and competition, about cooperation and communication, about how individuals navigate the tension between their own needs and the demands of living in a group. But why do hierarchies exist at all? The answer lies in the fundamental problem of group living. When animals come together, they must compete for limited resources. Food, mates, shelter, water, safe, sleeping sites, all of these are finite. Rather than fighting each time they meet, individuals of the same sex establish a relative rank. The benefits are clear. Repeated fights are costly. They require energy. They risk injury. They waste time that could be spent foraging or caring for young. A stable hierarchy allows animals to avoid these costs. Once rank is established, higher-ranking individuals gain more access to resources and mates, while lower-ranking individuals accept their position, knowing that challenging it might result in injury or death. This arrangement is not fair, but it is functional. It allows groups to exist without tearing themselves apart through constant warfare. The hierarchy becomes a kind of peace treaty, an agreement that everyone has a place, even if that place is not equal. And while this might seem cruel to our human sensibilities, it is worth remembering that for many species, being part of a group, even in a low rank, is safer than being alone. In chicken societies, the pecking order creates a clear ranking system where each bird knows its place. The hierarchy forms through brief aggressive encounters, pecks delivered and received, threats issued and submitted to. Once the order is established, chickens rarely fight. They know who outranks them and who they outrank. When a higher-ranking bird approaches, a lower-ranking bird simply moves aside. This saves energy, prevents injuries, and allows the flock to function smoothly. Chickens recognize each other as individuals. In a flock of 10 or 20 birds, each one remembers who is above and who is below in the social ladder. This feat of memory is impressive, a testament to cognitive abilities we often underestimate in birds. When a new chicken is introduced to the flock, the hierarchy must be renegotiated. Fights break out as the newcomer challenges others, testing boundaries, finding its place. The period of adjustment can be tense, but eventually a new equilibrium is reached. The position in the pecking order affects every aspect of a chicken's life. Higher-ranking birds eat first, choosing the best food. They select the most desirable roosting spots, places that are safest from predators, or most comfortable for resting. Lower-ranking birds must wait their turn, taking what is left, sleeping in less favorable locations. In times of scarcity, these differences can be a matter of life and death. A bird at the bottom of the order may starve while those at the top thrive. Yet even within this system, there is room for change. Hierarchies can shift. A bird that was once dominant may grow old, become injured, or fall ill. When this happens, others sense weakness and may challenge for higher rank. Rank can also change with the seasons. During breeding periods, hormonal shifts can make birds more aggressive, more willing to fight for status. The hierarchy is stable, but it is not static. It responds to the conditions of the group, adapting as individuals change. Schjelderup Eber's insights about chickens laid the foundation for understanding dominance in other species, but each animal group has adapted the basic concept in its own way. The principles remain: competition for resources, establishment of rank, reduction of violence through acceptance of social position. But the details vary wildly depending on the species, the environment, and the evolutionary history of the group. For many decades, people believed that wolf packs operated on a similar principle to chicken yards, with an alpha male at the top, a beta male as second in command, and omega wolves at the bottom, the lowest of the low, bullied and submissive. This image of wolf society became deeply embedded in popular culture. It was taught in schools, repeated in nature documentaries, and used as a metaphor for human social structures. There was only one problem. It was wrong. The idea of the alpha wolf came from research on captive wolves in the mid-20th century. Scientists would take wolves from different locations, unrelated individuals who had never met, and place them together in an enclosure. Forced to coexist in an artificial environment, these wolves did form dominance hierarchies. They fought for status. They established alpha, beta, and omega positions. The research seemed solid, and the findings were published widely. But then, researchers began studying wild wolf packs in their natural habitats, and what they found was entirely different. Wild wolf packs are not groups of unrelated individuals vying for dominance. They are families. A typical pack consists of a breeding male, a breeding female, and their offspring from the past 2 or 3 years. The parents are not alphas in the sense of dominant bullies who maintain their position through aggression. They are simply parents. They guide the activities of the group in much the same way human parents guide their children, through a division of labor, where the cool female predominates in activities like pup care and defense, and the male leads during foraging and food provisioning. L. David Mech, one of the most respected wolf biologists in the world, spent 13 summers observing wolves on Ellesmere Island in Canada. During all that time, he saw no dominance contests among pack members. The social interactions were calm and peaceful, far removed from the aggressive power struggles described in captive studies. Young wolves deferred to adults in an automatic, respectful way, without the need for violent enforcement. The social order was maintained not through intimidation, but through the natural bonds of family. Calling a wolf an alpha, Mech argued, is no more appropriate than calling a human parent an alpha. Any parent is dominant over their young offspring, so the term adds no information. Why not refer to the breeding female simply as the mother or the matriarch? Such a designation emphasizes not the animal's dominant status, which is trivial information in a family context, but its role as the pack's progenitor, the individual whose experience and wisdom guide the group. In wild packs, young wolves remain with their parents for the first few years of life, learning to hunt, to communicate, to navigate their territory. When they reach maturity, usually around 2 to 3 years of age, they leave the pack. This dispersal is voluntary. They are not driven out by an alpha. They are not fleeing oppression. They are simply doing what young adult wolves do, seeking mates and territories of their own. They leave to start new packs, to become parents themselves, to begin the cycle again. The misconception about alpha wolves arose because captive packs, with their unrelated wolves forced together in small spaces, do not represent natural wolf behavior. In captivity, wolves thrown together will establish dominance hierarchies. They have no choice. It is the animal equivalent of what might happen in a human prison, not the way wolves behave when left to their own devices. The alpha-beta-omega framework applies to captive wolves, but not to wild ones. This distinction is critical. It changes everything we thought we knew about wolf society. Understanding this difference matters not just for wolves, but for how we think about dominance in general. The old alpha wolf model suggested that life in a pack was a constant struggle for power. a brutal competition where only the strongest could lead. The reality is that wolf packs are cooperative family units where leadership is based on experience and kinship, not on aggression and intimidation. This revelation reshaped the field of animal behavior and reminded researchers to be cautious about extrapolating from captive studies to wild populations. Primates, our closest relatives in the animal kingdom, show us yet another variation on the theme of social hierarchies. Chimpanzees, baboons, macaques, and many other primate species live in complex societies where dominance plays a central role, but the details are far more intricate than a simple pecking order. In many primate groups, males and females form separate dominance hierarchies. Males compete with other males for rank, and females compete with other females. These hierarchies are not always linear. They can be dynamic, fluid, shaped by coalitions and alliances that shift over time. A male chimpanzee, for instance, may rise to high rank not through physical strength alone, but through his ability to form strategic partnerships with other males. He might groom key allies, share food, offer support in conflicts. In return, those allies help him in his own fights, backing him when he challenges a higher-ranking male. This coalition building requires intelligence, memory, and social savvy. A chimpanzee must remember who helped him in the past, who can be trusted, who is likely to betray him. He must read social situations, knowing when to fight and when to retreat, when to offer support and when to withhold it. The complexity rivals that of human politics, and in some ways it may be even more difficult because chimpanzees cannot rely on language to negotiate their alliances. They must communicate through gestures, facial expressions, vocalizations, and behavior. For male chimpanzees, rank is closely tied to reproductive success. High-ranking males have more opportunities to mate with females, especially during the female's fertile periods. This means their genes are more likely to be passed on to the next generation. The stakes are high, and the competition is fierce. Males will fight, sometimes brutally, for status. They engage in displays of aggression, charging through the forest, throwing branches, screaming, intimidating rivals with shows of strength and confidence. But dominance is not maintained by aggression alone. A male who relies solely on violence to keep his rank is vulnerable. The moment he lets his guard down, someone else can take over. Effective leaders, those who hold their positions for long periods, are often those who build strong social bonds. They are generous, sharing food and grooming with others. They intervene in disputes, calming tensions before they escalate. They protect weaker individuals from bullies. In doing so, they earn loyalty, and that loyalty becomes a buffer against challenges. Female chimpanzees also have hierarchies, though they are often less pronounced than those of males. High-ranking females may have better access to food resources, which can improve their reproductive success. Their offspring tend to be healthier, better nourished, more likely to survive. But female hierarchies are not always linear. Relationships can be ambiguous, and dominance may vary depending on context. A female who is subordinate in one situation might assert herself in another. Baboons provide another fascinating example of primate hierarchies. In baboon troops, male rank is often correlated with stress levels, but the relationship is not what you might expect. For years, scientists assumed that high-ranking males would have lower stress because they had better access to resources and mates. Subordinate males, facing constant challenges and limited opportunities, would be the ones suffering from chronic stress. Research by Robert Sapolsky and his colleagues in Kenya revealed a more nuanced picture. During stable periods, when the hierarchy was not being contested, high-ranking males did have lower stress hormone levels. But during unstable periods, when rank was being challenged and fights were frequent, high-ranking males experienced significant stress. In fact, the alpha male, the individual at the very top, often had the highest stress levels of all. Being at the pinnacle of the hierarchy came with benefits, but it also came with costs. The alpha had to constantly defend his position, fend off challenges, maintain alliances. The pressure was relentless. Second-ranking males, the betas, often had lower stress than alphas. They enjoyed many of the benefits of high rank without bearing the full burden of leadership. They could mate, they had access to food, but they did not face the same level of scrutiny and challenge as the alpha. This finding suggested that being at the very top may be more costly than previously thought, a theme that appears in many species. In both chimpanzees and baboons, dominance is not just about physical strength. It is about social intelligence, coalition building, strategic thinking. The individuals who rise to the top are not necessarily the strongest or the most aggressive. They are the ones who understand the social landscape, who can navigate alliances, who know when to push and when to yield. This kind of intelligence is deeply rooted in the primate brain, shaped by millions of years of evolution in complex social groups. Primates also show us that dominance can have profound effects on health and well-being. Chronic stress from low rank can suppress the immune system, increase susceptibility to disease, shorten lifespan. High-ranking individuals often live longer, reproduce more successfully, and have healthier offspring. But the relationship between rank and health is moderated by social factors. An individual with strong social bonds, even if low-ranking, may fare better than a high-ranking individual who is socially isolated. Support from friends and allies can buffer against the negative effects of subordination, providing emotional and physical protection. Not all animal societies are ruled by males. In some species, females hold the highest positions, forming matriarchies where the social structure revolves around dominant females and their kin. These matriarchies challenge our assumptions about gender and power in the animal kingdom, revealing that leadership is not inherently male. Elephants are perhaps the most well-known example of a matriarchal society. Elephant herds are led by the oldest and often largest female, the matriarch. She is not the most aggressive or the strongest in combat. Her authority comes from experience, from wisdom accumulated over decades. An elephant can live for 60 or 70 years, sometimes longer, and during that time, the matriarch learns where to find water during droughts, where to locate food in different seasons, how to navigate long migrations, and how to respond to threats. The matriarch's knowledge is critical to the survival of the herd. In times of crisis, when resources are scarce or danger is near, the group looks to her for guidance. She decides when and where to move, when to rest, when to flee. Her memory is vast, holding decades of information about the landscape, about other elephant families, about the rhythms of the environment. The adage that an elephant never forgets has some truth to it. An old matriarch can remember where her mother or grandmother took her for water during a drought 30 years earlier, and that historical knowledge can save her family during hard times. The hierarchy within an elephant herd is based on age and kinship. Older females rank higher than younger ones. The matriarch is typically the oldest female, and beneath her are her daughters, sisters, and their offspring. These bonds are strong and enduring. Female elephants remain with their natal herd for life, forming tight-knit groups where cooperation and mutual support are the norm. Calves are raised communally with aunts, sisters, and grandmothers, all participating in care and protection. This system of alloparental care, where individuals other than the mother help raise young, increases calf survival and strengthens social bonds. Male elephants follow a different path. They remain with the herd until puberty, around 10 to 15 years of age. Then they leave, either voluntarily or gently encouraged by the group. They enter a phase called musth, a period of heightened testosterone and aggressive behavior, and they seek out other herds to find mates. Adult males are largely solitary, though they may form temporary associations with other bulls. Their social lives are much less structured than those of females, and they do not participate in raising their offspring. In African elephants, the matriarch's role is clear and dominant. She makes decisions, and the herd follows. But research on Asian elephants has revealed a slightly different pattern. Asian elephant herds show less rigid hierarchies. Dominance behavior is less pronounced, and leadership is more relaxed. Scientists suggest this may be because Asian elephants live in more ecologically robust environments where food and water are generally available and predators are few. In such conditions, the need for strict hierarchical control may be reduced. Yet, even in Asian elephants, older females play crucial roles, and their experience is valued by the group. The importance of the matriarch cannot be overstated. When a matriarch dies, especially if she is killed by poachers, the consequences for the herd can be devastating. The remaining elephants may lose direction. They may struggle to find resources. They may panic in dangerous situations. Without the matriarch's knowledge and leadership, the group is vulnerable. In some cases, entire herds have been killed by poachers because they refused to leave the body of their fallen matriarch. The social bond, the trust in her leadership, was so strong that they would not abandon her, even in death. Spotted hyenas represent one of the most striking examples of female dominance in the animal kingdom. In hyena clans, females are larger, more aggressive, and socially dominant over males. Even the lowest-ranking female outranks the highest-ranking male. This inversion of the typical mammalian pattern, where males are usually dominant, has fascinated researchers for decades. Female spotted hyenas are not just dominant, they are biologically unusual. They have high levels of androgens, male hormones like testosterone, which contribute to their aggressive behavior and larger size. Perhaps most remarkably, female hyenas have what is called a pseudopenis, an elongated clitoris that closely resembles male genitalia. This anatomical feature makes it difficult to determine the sex of hyenas in the wild, and it has puzzled scientists for generations. The dominance of female hyenas is rooted in competition over food. Spotted hyenas are both hunters and scavengers, and feeding events are frenzied, competitive affairs. A group of hyenas can reduce a large zebra to bones in under 30 minutes, each individual eating as much as 1/3 of its body weight in a single feeding. In such intense competition, being bigger and more aggressive is a significant advantage. A female that can push others aside, that can defend her position at a carcass, ensures that she and her cubs get enough to eat. Hyena clans are organized into strict matrilineal hierarchies. Daughters inherit their mother's rank, taking a position just below her in the social order. This means that the offspring of high-ranking females automatically outrank the offspring of low-ranking females, regardless of individual strength or aggression. The system is nepotistic, based on kinship rather than merit. Sons also inherit their mother's rank while they remain in the natal clan. But when they reach maturity, they leave to join other clans. When an immigrant male arrives in a new clan, he enters at the very bottom of the hierarchy, below all females and all other males. He must work his way up slowly, queuing patiently, moving up only when higher-ranking males die or leave. This system gives high-ranking females enormous advantages. They have better access to food, which means they can produce more milk for their cubs. Their cubs grow faster, become stronger, and are more likely to survive to adulthood. High-ranking females also have longer reproductive lives and produce more offspring over their lifetimes. The benefits of rank are passed down through generations, creating dynasties within the clan. But life at the bottom is harsh. Low-ranking females struggle to feed their cubs. Infant mortality is high. Subordinate males, newly arrived and trying to integrate, are often excluded from feeding, forced to wait until higher-ranking individuals have eaten their fill. They must be submissive, deferential, careful not to provoke aggression from those above them. Yet they persist because being part of a clan, even at the bottom, offers more opportunities than being alone. The biological basis of female dominance in hyenas is complex. For decades, scientists assumed it was due to high testosterone levels in adult females. But research has shown that circulating testosterone in adult females is not consistently higher than in males. Instead, the masculinization likely occurs before birth. Female fetuses are exposed to elevated androgens in the womb, hormones produced by the mother's ovaries. This prenatal exposure shapes their development, giving them both their aggressive tendencies and their unusual anatomy. Dominance is not simply about hormones in adulthood, but about developmental biology that equips females to be dominant from the moment they are born. The ocean holds its own matriarchs. Killer whales, or orcas, live in some of the most stable and complex social structures known in the animal kingdom. Resident orca populations, particularly those in the Pacific Northwest, form matrilineal family groups where both males and females remain with their mothers for their entire lives. This arrangement is almost unheard of among mammals. An orca pod is built around the matriarch, the oldest female. She is the repository of cultural knowledge, the keeper of traditions, the guide through changing seas. Her daughters and their offspring, her sons and grandsons, all travel with her, rarely separating for more than a few hours. These family groups, called matrilines, are the core units of orca society. Several matrilines that frequently travel together form a pod, and multiple pods make up a community. The matriarch's role is not one of overt dominance in the way we see in baboons or hyenas. She does not assert her rank through aggression. Instead, her leadership is based on knowledge and experience. She knows where to find salmon during different seasons. She remembers migration routes, hunting techniques, vocalizations unique to her family. She teaches these skills to younger members, passing down cultural traditions that define her pod's identity. Orcas are one of the few species, along with humans and a handful of other whales, where females experience menopause. Female orcas can live for 80 or 90 years, but they stop reproducing in their 30s or 40s. They may live another 20 to 50 years after their last calf is born. This extended post-reproductive lifespan has puzzled scientists. Why would natural selection favor females who cannot reproduce? The answer lies in the grandmother hypothesis. Post-menopausal orca, females play crucial roles in their families. They guide the pod to food, especially during lean years when salmon are scarce. Research has shown that the presence of a post-menopausal mother significantly increases the survival of her adult offspring, particularly her sons. Males rely heavily on their mothers for shared food and social support. When a post-menopausal female dies, her adult sons are at much higher risk of dying within the following year. The matriarch also protects her sons during conflicts with other orcas. Studies have found that male orcas with post-menopausal mothers have fewer scars from fights compared to males whose mothers are still reproductive or have died. This suggests that mothers actively intervene to protect their sons, reducing the risks they face. By prioritizing her sons, a post-menopausal female helps ensure her genes are passed on, without the burden of raising new offspring. Males mate outside their pods, so the costs of raising their offspring fall on other groups. This arrangement allows the matriarch to maximize her genetic legacy while conserving resources within her own family. Orca culture is another dimension of their social structure. Different pods have distinct dialects, unique vocalizations that are learned and passed down through generations. Northern resident orcas emit elongated, shrill, metallic squeals, while southern residents add hoots and honks. These dialects are so distinct that experienced researchers can identify pods by sound alone. The vocalizations are not genetic, they are cultural, taught by mothers to their young. This cultural transmission extends to hunting techniques, social behaviors, even play rituals like beach rubbing, where orcas roll on pebbled beaches, perhaps as a form of social bonding. The stability of orca matrilines is remarkable. Individuals are rarely out of contact for more than a couple of hours. They forage together, rest together, socialize together. The bond between mother and calf is lifelong. Even adult males, large and powerful, remain close to their mothers, traveling at her side, relying on her guidance. This extreme philopatry, the tendency to stay in the natal area with natal kin, creates a social structure that is resilient and deeply interconnected. In the insect world, hierarchies take on entirely different forms. Honeybee colonies are organized into castes, rigid divisions of labor, where each individual has a specific role determined by biology and development. A colony consists of 3 types of bees, a single queen, thousands of female workers, and hundreds of male drones. Each caste has a clearly defined function, and the colony operates as a superorganism, a collective entity where individual bees work together with astonishing coordination. The queen is the reproductive heart of the colony. She is the only fully fertile female in the hive, and her primary role is to lay eggs. At her peak, she can produce 1,500 to 2,000 eggs per day, an extraordinary output that sustains the entire population. The queen is larger than workers, with a longer, more elongated abdomen. Her wings cover only about 2/3 of her body, while workers' wings extend nearly to the tip of the abdomen. The queen can live for 2 to 5 years, far longer than workers, who survive only 5 to 7 weeks during the active season. But the queen's power is not absolute. She does not make decisions in the way we might think of leadership. Instead, she produces pheromones, chemical signals that regulate the behavior of the entire colony. These pheromones, collectively known as queen substance, help maintain the unity of the hive, suppress the reproductive capabilities of workers, and stimulate activities like cleaning, building, guarding, and foraging. Each queen has her own distinct pheromone profile, which allows her colony to recognize her, defend her, and meet her needs. When the queen's pheromone signal weakens, either because she is old, sick, or has died, workers are triggered to rear new queens. They select certain fertilized eggs and feed the larvae exclusively on royal jelly, a secretion from glands in nurse bees. Larvae destined to become workers receive royal jelly only for the first 3 days, then switch to a diet of honey and pollen. But queen larvae are fed royal jelly throughout their development, and this difference in nutrition transforms them into queens. It is a remarkable example of how environment and nutrition can override genetics, creating 2 entirely different types of individuals from the same genetic blueprint. Worker bees are the engine of the colony. They are non-reproductive females who perform all the labor needed to keep the hive functioning. Their roles change as they age in a system called temporal polyethism, age-based division of labor. Young workers, just a few days old, start by cleaning cells in the brood area, preparing them for new eggs. As they mature, they take on more complex tasks. They become nurse bees, feeding larvae with secretions from their glands. They build comb from wax produced in their bodies. They receive nectar and pollen from foragers, processing it into honey and storing it in cells. They guard the hive entrance, challenging intruders. The oldest and most experienced workers become foragers, leaving the safety of the hive to search for nectar, pollen, water, and resin. Foraging is dangerous. Predators, bad weather, exhaustion, all pose risks. But foragers are the most expendable members of the colony. They have already contributed weeks of labor inside the hive, and their loss, while regrettable, does not threaten the survival of the colony in the way that losing the queen or many young nurses would. A single forager can visit up to 5,000 flowers in a day, traveling up to 10 kilometers from the hive, flying at speeds of 24 kilometers per hour, carrying loads of nectar and pollen equal to her own body weight. Yet, in her entire lifetime, a worker produces only about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. The collective effort of thousands of workers is what fills the hive stores, what feeds the queen and the brood, what ensures the colony survives through winter. Drones, the male bees, have only one purpose: to mate with queens from other colonies. They do not forage. They do not build comb. They do not care for brood. They are larger than workers, with big eyes that meet on the top of their heads, giving them a fly-like appearance. Drones develop from unfertilized eggs, inheriting only one set of chromosomes from the queen. They represent about 10 to 15% of the colony's population during spring and summer, the mating season. Drones leave the hive during the day to gather at drone congregation areas, specific locations high in the air, where drones from many hives await virgin queens. When a queen arrives on her mating flight, drones compete to mate with her. A successful drone dies immediately after mating, his reproductive organs torn away in the act. Those who do not mate return to the hive, where they are fed by workers. But when autumn arrives and resources become scarce, workers drive drones out of the hive. Unable to feed themselves, drones starve or freeze. None survive the winter. Their existence is entirely tied to the brief window of opportunity to pass on their genes. The honeybee colony is often described as a superorganism because the individuals function less as independent entities and more as cells in a larger body. The colony regulates its own temperature, breathes air in and out through coordinated fanning by workers, defends itself against invaders, reproduces by swarming to create new colonies. No single bee orchestrates these activities. They emerge from the interactions of thousands of individuals following simple rules, responding to pheromones and environmental cues. Hierarchies in the animal kingdom come with costs as well as benefits. High rank may confer advantages, access to food, mates, safe sleeping sites, but maintaining that rank requires constant effort. For many species, the burden of dominance can be heavy. In baboons, alpha males experience significant stress during periods of instability. They must fend off challenges, maintain alliances, monitor rivals. The pressure can elevate stress hormone levels to the point where it affects health. Chronic stress suppresses the immune system, increases vulnerability to disease, accelerates aging. An alpha male in constant turmoil may enjoy reproductive success, but he may also suffer physical costs that shorten his lifespan. Energy expenditure is another cost. Dominant individuals often engage in frequent displays of aggression, chasing rivals, patrolling territories, defending resources. These activities burn calories, and in environments where food is limited, the energy spent on dominance can be significant. A subordinate individual, by contrast, may conserve energy by avoiding conflicts, accepting lower status in exchange for reduced risk and expenditure. Physical injuries from competition are also a concern. Fights, even ritualized ones, can result in wounds, broken bones, infections. In species where combat is intense, such as male deer during the rut or male sea lions defending harems, the injuries can be severe. Some individuals die from infections caused by fighting wounds. Others are weakened to the point where they become vulnerable to predators or unable to forage effectively. Subordinate individuals face their own challenges. Low rank often means limited access to food and mates. In times of scarcity, subordinates may starve while dominants thrive. Female baboons and chimpanzees of low rank have fewer surviving offspring compared to high-ranking females. Subordinate males may have little or no opportunity to reproduce, spending their lives supporting the group but never passing on their genes. Yet subordinates have strategies. Dispersal is one option. Leaving the group to find a new territory or join a different group can offer a fresh start, a chance to climb the hierarchy elsewhere. But dispersal carries risks. Lone individuals are vulnerable to predators, starvation, hostile encounters with other groups. Many who leave their natal groups do not survive. Another strategy is coalition building. Subordinates may form alliances with each other, ganging up on a dominant individual to challenge their rank. In some primate groups, coalitions of lower-ranking males can overthrow an alpha, redistributing access to resources and mates. This requires cooperation and trust, qualities that take time to develop. Patience is also a strategy. In species where rank is inherited or based on age, a subordinate may simply wait. As older, higher-ranking individuals die or weaken, those below them move up. In orcapods, this is the norm. Rank is not fought for, it is inherited and earned through longevity. The young simply wait for their turn, supporting the matriarch and learning from her until they too become the elders. The formation of dominance hierarchies is influenced by multiple factors. Individual differences such as size, strength, aggression, and social intelligence play a role. Larger, stronger individuals may have advantages in physical contests. More aggressive individuals may be quicker to challenge others, establishing rank through boldness rather than brute force. Socially intelligent individuals, those who can read situations and form alliances, may rise to high rank even if they are not the strongest. But individual traits are not the whole story. Social dynamics matter just as much. Research on cichlid fish has shown that dominance hierarchies are not predetermined by individual attributes alone. They are produced by the dynamics of social interaction. Fish that are genetically identical can form different hierarchies, depending on the order in which they interact. The history of wins and losses, the presence of witnesses. Hierarchies are self-organizing systems that emerge from repeated interactions. In many species, age is a key determinant of rank. Older individuals have more experience, more knowledge, and often more allies. In elephant herds, the oldest female is the matriarch. In orcapods, post-menopausal females guide the group. In some primate groups, older males hold rank not through physical dominance, but through social capital, the network of relationships built over years. Experience also plays a role. An individual who has successfully navigated challenges, who has led the group to resources, who has defended against threats, earns respect and trust. This respect translates into social rank, not through aggression, but through demonstrated competence. In elephants, the matriarch's authority comes from her memory and wisdom. She is followed because she has proven herself reliable, not because she forces others to obey. Memory and recognition are essential for hierarchies to function. Animals must remember who they have interacted with, who won or lost past encounters, who is kin, who is a rival. Chickens recognize individual flockmates. Primates remember complex social networks. Elephants can recognize hundreds of other elephants, recalling relationships and histories that span decades. This cognitive ability allows hierarchies to stabilize, reducing the need for repeated fights. Hierarchies can change, and when they do, the effects ripple through the group. Rank reversals occur when a subordinate challenges and defeats a dominant individual. In some species, these reversals are rare. Spotted hyena hierarchies are remarkably stable. Rank is inherited, and challenges from subordinates are uncommon. But in other species, especially during breeding, seasons or times of resource scarcity, hierarchies become unstable. Males may fight more frequently, testing boundaries, seizing opportunities. Instability can increase stress for everyone involved, not just the individuals directly competing. The entire group may be affected as alliances shift, as fights disrupt foraging, as tensions run high. But instability can also create opportunities. A subordinate who has waited for years may finally have a chance to rise. A coalition of mid-ranking individuals may coordinate to overthrow a tyrant. The fluidity of hierarchies allows adaptation, ensuring that the social structure can respond to changing conditions. As we drift toward the end of tonight's journey, through the hidden architecture of animal societies, we are left with a profound appreciation for the quiet order that governs so much of life. Dominance hierarchies are not random, and they are not simple. They are the product of millions of years of evolution, shaped by the pressures of survival, refined by the complexities of social living. From the pecking order of chickens to the matriarchal wisdom of elephants, from the coalition building of chimpanzees to the lifelong bonds of orca families, each species has found its own solution to the problem of living in groups. Some societies are rigid, with strict ranks and harsh consequences for transgressions. Others are fluid, with leadership changing hands as individuals age or circumstances shift. Some are led by males, others by females, and still others by the collective effort of thousands working as one. What unites all these systems is the fundamental challenge they address. How do individuals compete for limited resources without destroying the group? How do they balance self-interest with cooperation? How do they establish order without constant violence? The answer, in every case, is through social structure, through hierarchies that create predictability, reduce conflict, and allow life to flourish, even in competitive environments. These hierarchies are invisible to the casual observer. We might watch a flock of chickens and see only birds pecking at grain. We might observe a wolf pack and imagine a brutal struggle for dominance. We might see an elephant herd and not realize the depth of knowledge held by the old matriarch leading them. But beneath the surface, there are intricate webs of relationships, memories, and negotiations that shape every interaction. The diversity of hierarchies reminds us that there is no single blueprint for social organization. Evolution has experimented with countless variations, testing what works in different environments for different species under different pressures. The result is a tapestry of social systems, each beautiful in its complexity, each adapted to the needs of those who live within it. And perhaps, as we think about animal hierarchies, we cannot help but see reflections of our own societies. Humans, too, organize ourselves into structures of rank and power. We, too, form alliances, compete for resources, navigate social networks. The parallels are not exact. Our language and culture add layers of complexity that animals do not have, but the underlying challenges are the same. We are social creatures, evolved to live in groups, and like the animals we have explored tonight, we must find ways to balance individual ambition with collective well-being. The quiet order of the natural world teaches us that hierarchy is not inherently good or bad. It is a tool, a strategy for managing the tensions of group life. What matters is how it is used, whether it creates stability or suffering, whether it allows cooperation or enforces exploitation. In the animal kingdom, we see both. We see systems where dominance is harsh and subordinates suffer. We see others where leadership is gentle, where the matriarch guides rather than commands, where respect is earned through wisdom rather than force. As you drift off to sleep tonight, perhaps you can imagine the invisible lines that connect animals to each other, the hierarchies that shape their days, the social contracts written in behavior and remembered across generations. Picture the old elephant matriarch, her family gathered around her, trusting her to lead them to water. See the orca pod traveling together through cold seas, the matriarch at the front, her sons and daughters close behind. Think of the honeybee colony, thousands of workers moving in perfect coordination, each one playing its part in the survival of the whole. These are the quiet wonders of the natural world, the structures that hold life together, the hidden architecture that makes complexity possible. And they remind us that even in the wildest places, there is order, purpose, and a kind of beauty that emerges not from chaos, but from the intricate dance of individuals navigating life together. If you enjoyed tonight's exploration of animal social hierarchies, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Bedtime Biology. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Are there other aspects of animal behavior you'd like us to explore? Do you have questions about the species we discussed tonight? Your feedback helps us create content that you find both calming and fascinating. And if you know someone who might enjoy falling asleep to the quiet wonders of the natural world, please share this video with them. Until next time, sleep well, and may your dreams be filled with the gentle order of nature.